everybody. Welcome back to another episode of More Than the Title. I'm your host, as usual, Jarrett, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And it's my favorite day. And I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO's favorite CEO, Chadeo. What's up, baby?
In the building, man. Ladies and gentlemen, it is another day to pause. You already know, man. You know how we like to start the show, G&T, but we're going to slow it down before we say the G&T, and we're going to have a moment of silence, man, for the homie Percy, for everybody that grew up anywhere near the South Bronx area, anybody that knew about Terror Squad and things of that nature, the Vietnam area Forest Projects native. Percy, unfortunately, lost his life recently, so we're going to dedicate this show to Percy like we like to do, man. Shout out to Percy's family. We send our sincere condolences to you and your family on this great loss. We know that that's a void that's never going to be filled. So I just want to take a moment of silence for the brother Percy, man. Yeah, man. So that's why we start the show, ladies and gentlemen, with G&T every single show. And we're going to continue to start the show like that. G&T is grateful and thankful for all of you new listeners. Grateful for the fact that once again, we were able to see another day and be able to be with our loved ones and the people that we care about, right? And get a chance to do the things that you like to do as a person, right? Everybody's different, but just to be afforded the opportunity to continue to do the things that you enjoy, you should not take that for granted, right? Message. And thankful, you know, for all the supporters, all the fans, all the new people that are joining in, that just found the podcast, that are sending us all these great messages, for all our core fan base and our home team that continue to watch the podcast, and grateful for all the guests that allow us to cultivate their stories when they come on the show and things of that nature, right? Because a lot of times our guests come on, it's the first time they're meeting us, right? So they don't really know what they're in store for. So G&T, ladies and gentlemen, grateful and thankful. Don't take things for granted, man. Do not take things for granted.
That's it, man. Well said, cuz. Well said, man. With that said, you already know, shout out to the Live Podcast Network, the first woman-owned, black-owned podcast network, and home of the More Than the Title podcast. So if you want more content like More Than the Title, make sure you scan the QR code, take your phones out, download the app. Half of your subscription goes back to the content creator of your choice, man. So shout out to Angel and the entire team. They just been recognized for AWS with Amazon, man. She's doing amazing things. We got some Revolt collaborations coming up. Exciting times to be alive, baby.
What a time to be alive.
Oh, man, I love it, man. I'm ready to pause. You got the shoulders right? You ready to go, baby?
Man, let's go.
I'm ready to do. Let's start.
Let's start the show.
That has a din do. I like it.
Water, that's the flavored water do.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, my friend. All right, man. But we're going to do it. You know, for the first time listeners, y'all, this is More Than a Title. This is a show that celebrates the people and their journeys, man, because we are all more than a title. And this show is no different. This is episode 161. And today, this brother here is a founder and CEO of LaBov Marketing, Communications, and Training. He has a storied career marked by 2 Ernst Young Entrepreneur of the Year awards and an induction into the Hall of Fame. His firm has garnered numerous accolades, including the Indiana Growth 100 Award, recognition of Small Business of the Year, and a spot on the best places to work list in Indiana. His insights from his upcoming book, The Power of Differentiation, offers leaders practical strategies for shutting up their brands and products apart in a crowded marketplace. He is sought after expert on CNBC, Fox Business, and now today, for the first time, is on More Than a Title. So
yeah, baby.
LaBov Marketing, baby. Mr. Barry LaBov, man. Yeah. I love it, man. I'm ready to pause, man. I'm ready to pause. You got me excited.
Oh man, I listen. I'm excited too. I want to know what the what is it? The Ernst Young? I want to know about all that. Yeah, I'm excited. Listen, I don't know what the award is for, but shit, I'm ready to learn. Shit, it sounds like it's very prestigious. Tell me about it.
Very good. No, but I gotta ask you a question first, Barry, right? Because I want to give the fans context. So Barry reached out, not his EA, not his executives or anybody. Barry reached out and said, I saw your episode with Lola, and it said, I would love to be on the show. So I just want to ask you, for the listeners, man, you've been on many shows. What made you want to come here?
I've been on over 100 shows. All right. And I looked at your show and I thought the two of you were having a blast. And I thought you were so real that I'm going, I got to get in there and join the party. I mean, I've been missing out. I'm banging on the door and I want to get in.
keeps it real.
There it is, man. There it is. There it is.
Man,
I just want to say we appreciate you, Barry, because there's a lot of people that actually want to be on the show that actually don't have the courage to ask. We don't know for what reason. Like, we don't have a stringent policy where we're like turning so many people away. There is a list, you know, obviously we do scheduling, but some people have actually contacted us like, yo, I would love to be on the show, but you know, I don't know what to talk about, or I don't know, like almost like unsure of their own accolades. And we like, nah, come on the show, man. It's all right. We gonna have some fun. You know what I mean? So we appreciate you reaching out, man. It means a lot.
Well, I think sometimes people take themselves too seriously. It's like, let's have some fun, right? It's like, you know, I'm afraid to make a mistake. I'm afraid to say this. It's like, who cares? Let's just go, right? That's what.
I love that attitude. That's perfect for this show right here.
Yeah,
that's perfect for this show right here. Let's go.
Let's talk about it, because a lot of our audience, Barry, is like entrepreneurship. Tell us what got you the entrepreneurship bug, man, and tell us about the early days of the business. What got you into it?
All right, Jarrett, I never wanted to be in business. I never wanted to sell. I never wanted to have anything to do with it. I was a young kid. I got into music, and I really wanted to be in a rock band, you know, because you pick up the chicks and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I learned how to play drums, but then I realized to write songs, you got to play a keyboard or guitar. So I learned how to play guitar and keyboards, and I ended up in a two-man band that sounded, I'm sure, horrible. But it was my brother and me. We were teenagers. I played drums, played keyboards with my right hand, and sang. So it was an ugly, ugly band, but it was the beginning. And I didn't know this, guys, but it really was the beginning of me being in a business, because the band was a business. You have to go out and play. You got to write stuff. You got to deal with people. You got to get people to show up for work. So what happened was, over the years, as I got older into my early teens, I had some songs on the radio, had our band backed up John Mellencamp. I like to say that my songs sold well under 1 million copies.
Damn! If you sold one copy, you're doing good. There's some people that ain't selling
eight copies. Fact.
Right. So that's what happened.
I just want to say this, though. I don't want to shoot past the fact that you said you learned an instrument and then realized that you needed to learn a different instrument and then learn two other instruments.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you said, I played two instruments at the same time. Like, we cannot shoot past things like that, Barry, because very early on, you are showing dedication to your craft. And that is the foundation to any successful person, period, right? If you cannot show dedication to what you love doing and what you want to foster and develop, then you have no foundation to build anything. So I just want to commend you on that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think for me, guys, the passion was, I want to create something, and the drums helped, the keyboards helped a little more. And I wanted to do something that had not been done before. So I wanted to create a song that had not been created before. You know, I didn't say I wanted to be the very best, but man, I just had so much excitement and passion for it that I did it. And it was a pleasure. It was not a job.
Yeah. If you love what you do, it's never work.
That's right.
Never work, man. But then you realize that, like, so now you have the transferable skills, right? So now you're working there. But what made you choose marketing and sales? Because you said the first thing you said, you said, I never wanted to be in sales. I never did either. I just landed on it and just realized.
I think for me, the fact I did not want to do it has helped me, because I had no ego in it. I never said, hey, I want to run my own business and I want to be the big guy. And it was like, no, I don't care. I don't want to do that. But what happened to me was, I was playing music in a band, and I also was doing jingles. You know what jingles are? Those irritating little ditties. Okay. So I had a company of my own, a tiny little group, and we were doing that. And I was in a band, and then tragedy struck. My father passed away. He was 62 years old. And guys, what I did was, I realized that, you know what, I'm not going to live forever. And all of a sudden it hit me like, okay, what do you really want to do? Stop messing around, commit. And I surprised myself because I realized I wanted to run a company. I thought it'd be fairer. I thought I could do creative things. And that's what I did. I never looked back. And shortly after that, I won that Ernst Young Chadeo. You were talking about that, but the Ernst Young Entrepreneur of the Year award, which means, you know, somebody picks you as a entrepreneur and all that. And I won that, then won it a couple years later. And all of a sudden, I started to see growth in the company beyond what I thought. And I started to work with very famous companies, you know, like Audi and Volkswagen and Macallan Scotch and Harley Davidson. And it's grown from there.
Listen, because we having fun, Barry, you know, you said you was in a band, you know, not the band, because if you was in the band, I was going.
You're the band.
That's not on for you, Barry. Give me 16 right now, Barry.
Out of control.
I correlate very quickly. He's in a band, not the band. But so I want to take it. Let's take it back though before the business, right?
Yeah.
It's a big transition. We're musicians ourselves. I don't know if you can see. I'm actually in my studio right now. Been in music 20 years. Yep, I'm in my studio right now. I got the track boards and everything, the monitors, and we've been doing music for a very long time. So we understand the creative passion of music, right? My cousin's an artist. I'm an artist. Yeah. We've been doing it for a long time, and like he said, it's not work, but it is a completely different stratosphere of doing music to running a business, right? So walk us through just the transition. Like, you're going to school. Are you actually studying business in school? Like, what are you actually studying in school? Because there's a big transition from like musician, rock star to like running a company. Like, what was that like?
I originally was in school studying music until the professor sat me down there and he said, you know, Barry, I gave up on music as a career, and I think you should too. So
he said that.
So yeah,
he said that.
And
that's crazy.
Well,
No.
He did say that. And you know, I didn't get angry at him. I thought, you know, he's trying to help me. He's not really talking to me. He's talking about himself. So one of our entrepreneurial lessons is sometimes people say things, but they're really talking about themselves. They're projecting what's going on in their head. But anyway, so anyway, what happened was I decided to look into some other business related classes, and but then I quit for a few years and started my company. And out of guilt, I went back because I thought, hey, I've got to study some more business classes. And I did that. But in reality, I probably did not need to go to school. I just worked so hard. And it was mostly, the best part about school was I got to meet my wife there. That's where I met her. So other than that, there is no major positive for it.
I love that you said that, because that's a major message that we especially for our community, Barry. We try to hone that message, because there's a lot of us that are creative. There's a lot of us that are drawing, whether it be graffiti, whether it be cartoons, things like that, and they don't know how that can be transferred into advertising and business, right? It's like, I'm just doing a skill set. It's one thing to have the art, but then to monetize the art is a completely different skill set, right? And that's what, like, we try to hammer home that message all day. You just said jingles, right? We've been in music 20 years. How many jingles have we recorded, cuz?
0.
You know what I mean? And it's not that we couldn't do it. It's just sometimes you're like, if I do it, then what, right?
You know, and you guys are familiar with Sweetwater. You guys are familiar with Sweetwater Music, right?
Are they still around? I used to order from them.
You probably bought some equipment from Sweetwater Music.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're located.
Yeah. Okay.
We say it again?
They're located in my city, Fort Wayne.
Okay.
They're located in my city, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and their owner, their founder, is a friend of mine, and he recorded me and my band. And we were talking about college. He never went to college, but he started Sweetwater. These other guys, I mean, and he's done great. He's the largest worldwide music retailer. So kind of shows you what you can do.
Message.
just loved what he did and ended up saying,
Yeah.
I know all this stuff. Let me sell it back to the people, because I'm sure there's somebody like me that was wondering what I need this cord for. And where do I get this cord? I can't get it.
I mean, he found. I think he found it.
That's
you know,
right.
with all business, and I don't know, like who came first. Sweetwater Guitar Center and other retailers. Sam Ash. But again, it's the foundation of business is solving a problem, right? Seeing what people need and people want, and then providing a service or a product to them, right? So like I've ordered from Sweetwater. They got great prices, and they always got the high end equipment, and their policies were always good. And I've definitely patronized Sweetwater myself. I used to get the magazines that come in the mail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They mail you them big catalogs, and it just shows that you can be successful both ways. What we try to get people to understand is there's no direct, like straight black and white line to success, right?
Yeah.
You can go to school and be successful. There's a lot of people that got a degree and went on to be successful. There's a lot of people that never went to school and were successful. There were people that went to school, didn't finish, and became successful. So you got to kind of find your path to this thing. Our biggest issue with the school system in general is so many people go to school and you end up studying something 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And then you come out and you have this enormous amount of debt. And then you end up getting a job that's not even in the field that you just studied for 4 or 5 years.
Now
So
you're
right. Now you're like chasing your tail. So now it's like you could have took that 4 or 5 years, either started your own thing or interned for somebody else in what you wanted to do. And in that 5 years had zero debt, right? And then been in position within the company because you would have probably moved up and things of that nature, instead of now starting at an entry level with no experience.
Right. And I do think I'll add one, I'll throw a curve at you on there, Chadeo. I do think that unfortunately there are companies that say, look, Jarrett, you cannot get a position here unless you have a degree. Okay. But what you said is accurate for a lot of companies. And what I believe you said that's really good is, look, if you're trying to get an education because you think it's a guarantee that, hey, you're going to have this straight line to success, it's not going to happen. It's got to be something you believe in, something you're willing to work hard on. And if it's a business you want to run, I'll tell you, a lot of times taking all that time, like you said, going to school and being in debt, it's going to set you back.
Yeah.
I'm screaming baby for that, man. So I've got to actually but still, once again, because this is my first time. I've been in business for 12, 13 years, being and running, being a top performer in other companies, right? But running your business is a totally different animal, right? What were some of the toughest challenges that you encountered when you just started the business, right? Because you're doing jingles and it's different from marketing. Now you're doing OH. You may be doing some digital campaigns. Like, how did that scale?
One of the things that was rough for me was, as I was originally hiring people, I realized that I felt like everybody needed to be my friend. And I was hiring friends, they're my friends. And I was afraid to really be demanding, let's say, I don't mean being mean, but demanding, hey, we got to get this done. We got to do this. We got to do that. So I think for me, not being used to having people who worked for me was difficult. I remember one time a lady that had been working for me for 2 or 3 years, I met her father for the first time. I said, oh, I can't wait to meet your dad. So she comes up and she said, hey, Dad, this is my boss. And I went, whoa, I'm not your boss. And I thought, well, I guess I am your boss. So I think that was rough for me. One thing I did, guys, and I'll tell you, this is probably one of the best things we did, was I did not want to be a local company. I did not want to be. I wanted to be good enough that somebody in New York, somebody in California, somebody in Tennessee, somebody in Illinois would hire my company. And I reached out to companies all over the nation. I traveled to New York dozens of times on business, dozens of times to California. I did not want to sit around and be a local company because I felt there wasn't enough security. Our little city in Indiana back in the 1980s ended up going into a severe depression because we lost a major manufacturer. And it hit me like, I can't count on this city to feed me. So one thing I did is I set my sights higher. And that's why I have all these clients all over the nation. And a few of them are worldwide, but
you got a bell.
But that's why. Yeah,
I mean,
I just think I set myself.
Man.
Yeah.
That's
I think you got to set your sight.
Yeah,
you got to set your sights high. And if you fall a little short from it, it's okay. But don't set them low and think I'm going to just scrape by and just get by. I think it's a waste of energy and talent.
Yeah, but when you're going around, so one thing we say, right? Like we go to all these events. The same thing we did the first time. As soon as the first actually event we went to was 2 months after we started our business, right? It was just, can we just make one relationship? We had our itinerary. These are the people we need to meet. And we kid you not, Barry, we met everybody and did everything we needed to do on our list in the first 3 hours of getting to a 3-day event.
Right.
So we were that intentional what we're doing. But like, what was your, who do I need to connect with? Especially you talking about like in the 80s, 90s, right? There's not Facebook. You don't know what they look like. How did you maneuver around that?
Well, when I was originally working in the music industry a lot, I would go to New York City and we would have 40 appointments a week, meeting with publishers and A&R people, artists and repertoire people at record companies. So I literally beat the living you-know-what out of myself, meeting these people one-on-one, running down streets in Manhattan, trying to go in and play some music or go talk to them for business. So I went out there, I met with people. I'm naturally a quieter or more introverted guy. Now, I'm not a church mouse, but I mean, I'm not like wild and out of control. So the idea of meeting 40 brand new people in a week was not exciting, but the idea of, talking to people who might have interest in what we did was. So it was going out there. And I'm seriously, by Wednesday or Thursday, my feet were bleeding from running. You know how Manhattan is. I mean, you're running a mile to get to one place, a mile and a half to another, and you're going back 3 blocks another place. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, listen, it sounds like it, but again, like we talk about work ethic being the fundamental principle that is instilled in every child. As you're coming up through the educational system, right? Work hard, work hard, work hard. So again, like that's a perfect example of you saying like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to succeed. So again, you're already showing this mindset of, I don't have any shame. I don't have any pride. This is what I want to do. And whatever that looks like, then I'm going to do that to be successful. See, I think that's where we lose a lot of people in. And it's not even about the entrepreneurial thing. It's just success in general, because people don't have that attitude, right? Some people feel like they're too good to take certain positions, right? I'm too good to intern. I'm too good to come in at a lower position, because they don't have the foresight to say, but you're getting your foot in the door with a company that if you don't take this position, you might not get your foot in the door at all at this point. So it's how bad do you want it? And what are you willing to do for it? You know what I mean?
I'm too good to ask.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know how to ask or when to ask or when the right time to ask. You don't want to mess up the relationship. It's a lot of that. You know what I mean? So you just say, I'm in there, I'm doing this. This is what it is. And then I'm transferable skills, like you said, because you're already doing it. Same thing with me, right? Like I was in mortgages. I was doing reverse mortgages at 20, right? I had to make 3 calls a day to try to get somebody that was 65 or older to give me equity out their house so I can get a deal. You know what I mean? Those Barry, shit. I got 1 yes in 2 years, but it made sense. You know what I mean? By the time I got to advertising, it was okay. Everybody's scared to get that no. Now I'm like this. I'm the dollar. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. You build up that mindset. You build up that fortitude, man.
I want to say this to you, Barry. Well, but go ahead. No, go ahead. You was going. Yeah, I'll let you respond.
Okay. I think some people feel like I don't want to sell because selling is a bad thing. And I'm a bad person if I force somebody to take money out of their pocket. And I had to get over that and realize that, look, I am doing something that I think is worthwhile. And I believe it can help a person. So I'm cheating them if I don't at least talk to them.
Method.
That's what I'm doing. I'm cheating them. So my whole thought was, I'm going to at least give it a try. If I fail and they reject me, hey, I can go to sleep at night knowing I at least did it. What I can't stand is thinking, you know, I really think I should have said that, but I didn't. I feel bad. So that's why I did it.
Yeah, listen, I love it. I was gonna say one thing that we excuse me. One thing that we also try to instill in people is understanding. Let's say that you want to be an entrepreneur, right? Again,
Right.
if you want to be an entrepreneur, one of the better thing, one of the paths that you can take is to get a job in the industry that you want to eventually open your business in, right? Work for somebody who's
Right.
already doing kind of what you want to do. That way you can learn from their mistakes on their dime instead of you making all the mistakes on your dime. Especially, we know for most entrepreneurs, you know, financially you're strapped. A lot of people, you know, starting up a new business, you have to rob Peter to pay Paul, and you don't have the financial resources to really get up and running the way you would like to be up and running. So one of the things for you to do is get a job in the industry, work for somebody, right? Learn the ins and outs, learn the do's and the don'ts before you open up your business. So that way, when you finally open up your business, you have the education of the industry, and you now have the also the education of what to do and what not to do. You're still going to make mistakes, but you're not going to make as many mistakes, because in entrepreneurship, a mistake is money.
Right.
A mistake
Well,
could mean bankruptcy.
yeah.
You know, one mistake
Yeah.
could be, that's it. We got to close the doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think you're right. You know, one thing I'll share with you, I haven't said this. I never took out a loan. So I did everything I did with the existing money. And
wow.
my wife and I lived pretty poor, but we put all the money back into the company for 7 years before I took 1 penny of salary. And we had virtual, but that was what we did. And so I literally, guys, I had 5, 6, 7 people working for me, making money. I'm not making any. I mean, I'm putting it back in. They're driving in with nice cars or new cars. I have an 18-year-old car. My wife has a 15-year-old car.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And nobody walked up to me at that time and say, boy, I envy you. I wish I was you. They're going, I don't know why you're doing this. But it was on a day-to-day focus to do this. And obviously it turned out well, but I had the right people around me, starting with my wife, and I believed that what we did was worthwhile. You know, I didn't learn it from a book. I didn't learn it from a class. I talked to, like you're saying, Chadeo, I talked to lots of people. I learned from a lot of people. I was a horrible salesperson, so I found the best salesperson in town, and I asked him to lunch. And he said, sure, what are you doing for lunch today? And I went, well, let's talk. And I said, why are you going to meet me today for lunch this quickly? And he said, Barry, nobody asks me for my opinion. You are the only person who's ever come up to me to do this. I'm thrilled. Let's talk. And he's now a lifelong friend. Right. And it's all about humbling. You got to humble yourself.
Absolutely.
And, you know, as successful as my company has been, a lot of people say this to me. They go, you know, you're so humble. You don't brag about stuff. You know, guys, you know this. You start from nothing, and it's in your head very clearly that you could lose it all. And so what you have to realize is be humble be grateful, treat people well, be appreciative. And, you know, I think another thing is don't look at people who are not as wealthy or successful as you in the moment as if they're inferior. They're every bit as valuable as human beings as you are. So you got to learn that stuff, because a lot of them are your employees. You can't look down on them. They don't look at me as a superior life form. I'm the old guy who pays the paychecks, but I am not a superior life form. My life's not more important to them than theirs is. So I think you got to learn these things.
You got to listen to him. You learn something.
Message. To it, I had the message lined up, but it's a double trouble. I like it.
It speaks to his character also, because you understand what I'm saying. It speaks to his character, and we talk about this all the time, Barry. don't shit on the people at the bottom, because life is a circle. And let me tell you, Barry, like when I came home from the Marines and I got into construction, a lot of the guys that were already established in the game used to, like, instead of like teaching me the game, they would kind of like, look down on me. Oh, you don't know nothing, you knew. And I used to say to them, like, what makes you think I don't know anything? Because my title is apprentice. I'm an apprentice because I'm coming up in the apprenticeship program.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I'm stupid. Like, I'm an engineer. You don't even know my educational back. You don't know what I've been through. You just know that I'm younger than you and I'm an apprentice, right? But I used to tell him, I used to be like, but you better be careful, because you don't understand what I am. I'm this now, but I promise you in the next couple of years, you're going to meet me in a different capacity. So long story short, a couple years went by, and as I climbed the ranks, I was a foreman and superintendent, and now I'm in charge. I'm senior management. And now a lot of these guys come to the job like, yo, who's in charge? They're like, Chaddy. And they're like, who? And they're like, yeah, Chadeo, he's the foreman, or he's the super. And then they got to come to me.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, yo, I need a job. Right. And hope I don't be like, yeah, go clean the bathrooms.
That was real, man.
I'll be honest with you, like,
it's a long time though, Barry. I ain't gonna lie to you. 7 years.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Well, I mean, Barry, here's some insight. He's saying that, but we're going on our third year. Third year. And we can honestly say, I think we've taken out from the company, I think one time. One time. So in 3 years, so we're not at 7 just because the company's newer, but we don't take out from the company. Everything that we make, we pump right back into the company as well. Yeah, so we're walking the same exact path that you're walking. We tighten up. We're not out here spending extravagantly, like you said. I'm telling you right now, I'm driving a 2008 right now. Ain't no new cars for a while. Like, you know what I mean? Ain't no new cars right now. Ain't no big vacations for a while. Ain't no new houses for a while. Like, if this is what we're gonna do, we have to be disciplined enough to understand financial responsibilities and financial management. And you got to understand that the business is your baby. You have to nurture it. The business has to eat sometimes before you eat, right? Or you're gonna go out of business. You understand? So we're doing the exact same thing. That we're not at the 7-year marker, but we walked that path for 3 years so far.
Just 3 and 7 is like, fuck, I got 4 more. I'm sorry, man. It's like, fuck, I got 4 more. But put the Jordan up. Put Jordan up.
With the crying face. But the message is this. Here's the message though, Barry. Like, let me make you laugh. Like, so as entrepreneurs, and I've run several other companies before me and Jarrett got together and formed this company. So I'm more versed in business than he is, but we sit down and we talk every day. And a lot of the times when we interview people and they say things, it just inspires us. Like you saying 7 years and we've been doing it for 3. You know what that tells us? You're on the right path. You see?
That's right. Yep.
You see, when we have guests like you come on and give us their stories and they sound almost identical to what we're going through in the moment and what we've gone through to get to where we are now, then we'll look at each other and go, see, we got to keep going. We got to keep going.
Right.
So that's why we ask guests to come on and tell the real story, right? Because the same way that you can inspire us, and we're already business owners, right? We're not at the top level or whatever you consider top, high level success, but we're still business owners that have successfully opened up a business, and we've run a business for 3 years. There are people that are scared to even start, right? So if you can inspire us and we can inspire other people, then look at the trickle down effect that happens. You understand what I'm saying? And this is why your story is so important, to come on platforms like this and tell that story. Like, listen, it's not all glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
Right. It's not all shiny things. It's hard, right? It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of discipline. It's a lot of leaning on your support system. In your case, your wife is your support system, right? How important is the support system? So these messages, I think, is what the culture needs to hear to inspire them to say, well, if they did it, because we're not superior beings, right? We're just like you.
Right.
If they did it and they went through the struggle, then if I'm struggling, then I'm no different. I can just get on the same path that they're on.
Message.
And keep in mind, guys, I think the statistic is this: in the first 10 years of a business, 15 out of 17 of them go out of business. Think about it. 15 out of 17 companies do not make it 10 years. So the point is, you've made it 3 years. You're way ahead of most of those guys. And a lot of them are going to give up. A lot of them are going to say it's not worth it. And, you know, as long as you're working with each other and you're connecting with people and you have a great support system, you have a chance to do great things. You know, you really do.
Message. What was one of the shine? If you had to give us one story of the business, what was the greatest moment of the business? What was the one moment he's like, I'm so glad I did not quit in year 6, year 5, year 4? What was that one moment for you?
Okay, I'll tell you, it's another music story.
We love those.
Let's do it.
Okay, it's a music story. So I had a friend who knew a famous music producer. I think his name was George Pincus, and he had been involved with the Beatles. Okay, so he was a publisher, producer guy. And they said, hey, we'll set you up with George Pincus. And I'll tell this quickly, but this was a big one. Okay. So I got my 40 appointments in New York. I got 40 of them set up. My wife joined me. We go in, and the first appointment's with George Pincus. George Pincus, the famous guy. And I thought, this is great. I worked on 4 songs. I was so proud of them. It was so exciting. And of course, the bad news was we got in on a Sunday night, a terrible hotel room. We could hardly afford anything in New York. And it was raining. And you know how bad everybody acts when it's raining in New York City. I mean, they're all angry at each other. And the Yankees had lost the night before. It was a bad day. So we get up. It was bad. So we get up and we leave to go to George's place because it was not in Manhattan. It was just outside of it. We had to take a taxi. We go to a building that looks like it had been bombed out in a war. It would look terrible. We go up the steps because the elevator doesn't work. And we knock on the door, and there's a woman who looks like a nurse who comes out. And I said, I have an appointment with George Pincus. And she said, I'll come in. And he's there smoking a cigar, kind of like George Burns, the old actor, you know, the old guy, smoking a cigar. And he goes, okay, give me your tape. So I had a cassette tape. This is how long ago it was. I give him the cassette tape. He gives it to the nurse lady. She puts the song in, and it plays the first 15 seconds. And he goes like this with his cigar. She fast forwards to the next song. I went, oh, my God. He listens about 15 seconds, goes like, fast forward. Next song, fast forwards after 15 seconds. Next song, fast forwards. He said, take it out. She pops it out. He says, hand it back to him. And he says, kid, you have no talent. Right. He said, you have no talent, and you will never, ever succeed. And then a funny thing, he said, well, maybe in country music, but you have no talent in music. So I said, oh my gosh. So Jesus. I took my cassette. I go down the steps with my wife. I said, well, we got to get an airplane flight right away. Go back home because I'm done. And she said, well, I don't think so. That's silly of you. Yeah, you don't think everybody's going to talk like this, do you? And I said, this is our first one. I said, I can't stand it. Now, this is the truth, guys. She says, come on, let's do them all. And I said, oh. So we go to the next appointment. It was Billy Joel's publishing company. I walked in. I did not have to open the door. I walked under the door. I was feeling so small. Okay. I felt so terrible. Wow. I walk in. I hand him the cassette. He listens to all 4 songs all the way through. I stand up when he's done. I said, thank you for your time. And the guy goes, Barry, what are you doing? I said, I'm just getting my tape back. He said, are you on some kind of depression medicine or something? He said, why are you acting like this? And I said, I just talked to George Pincus, and he says I have no talent and I should quit. And he said, Barry, he tells everybody that. That's what he says to everyone. Message.
No.
And I said, what? He says, yeah, he tells that to everybody. And he's a ripoff. He ripped off the Beatles. He's not a good guy. And I went, oh my God. So he said, I want to buy one of your songs. So your first song on there, I want to buy. I'm going to send you a contract. We have a deal. Now, here's the rest of the story. He did. And I got the song published. Okay.
Wow.
Guys, if you do the math, I had another 38 appointments. Not one of them turned into another contract. Now, not one of them were as bad as that Pincus guy, but I had to go through 40 of them to get the worst rejection of my life and then one of the best opportunities, but I had to go through them all. And I didn't know which one was which until I went through it.
That's a hell of a story.
Before we go too far,
That's a hell of a story.
before we go too far, I just want to send a huge shout out to your wife.
Yes.
That is what we're talking about when we talk about a true supporter and a true believer in the person, right? She could have very easily went along with you and let you give up. And she was like, what are you talking about? We came here to get busy. Let's get busy, right? And that's what we're talking about. That's why a support system is so integral to any person's success, because you need that. You need that because we're all human beings, right, Barry? We all get rejections, right? Sometimes we're feeling great, and sometimes we have we feel like we're on top of the world, but some days that energy, like you said, we feel so small that we can fit under the door, right? But we need somebody to be like, yo, you can fucking do this. And even when we're not feeling it ourselves, they believe in us, right? So I just want to send a huge shout out to you. I hope you bought it. Listen, Barry, I'm gonna tell you right now, you better be taking care of this wife right now. She better be everything she wants, right?
She gets anything she wants, anytime, whatever she wants.
Yeah. That now you can say happy wife, happy life. Right?
There you go, man. No, what you said, you walking, the walking through every single door and not knowing which one is the right one is entrepreneurship.
That's right.
It's the building the relationships. It's not knowing what seed is going to sprout, but you did the right thing at the 25th hour of some random day. And because it was the right thing to do, right? Somebody needed I could do that for you, man. I'm not even going to charge you that, man. Just send it to me, do this, whatever the case may be. And you end up getting an opportunity like that. And then you go through that. I was literally watching a clip of Lauryn Hill. I don't know if you saw it, because I think I posted it on Instagram. Lauryn Hill, she was on the Apollo, got booed off the stage at 15 years old. At 17 years old, she's on Sister Act 2 with Whoopi Goldberg.
Right.
And she's a Grammy winner 3-4 years later. So what if she quit after that? That message that you're saying is so powerful. Like, man, if you had went home, your life looks entirely different.
You're right. And too many of us quit. We just give up, And I'll tell you one thing I learned about the bands I was in. I was never the most talented guy in my bands, but I was definitely.
Yourself, Barry. You keep downplaying your skills, man. I'm actually bringing the guitar or something, man.
Well, I was determined, and I wrote a prolific creative person. But the guys in my band, I'll tell you, I had some of the most talented guys, and many of them could have pursued a career in specific areas. Could have been music, could have been art, and none of them wanted to go through it. None of them they were not willing to either travel. They weren't willing to go through the pain. And a lot of times they would laugh at me. They would say, you're crazy, and I'm still good friends with them. It's just they took that path and I took a different one.
Yo, Jarrett, I think me and Barry about to get Barry. What's up, Barry? Barry, after the show, let's get busy.
He went Barry White.
You might have to put something together. Barry.
Shout out to Joe. Shout out to everybody on LinkedIn, man.
Yeah, man.
Get some laughs. A lot of people.
You know what? I want to say this to you, Barry.
I love it.
As when we were younger, you look up to people, right? They have a saying never meet your idols, right? And when you hear a lot of sayings as a child, you repeat a lot of the sayings and you just adapt them, but you don't actually know what that truly means until you actually go through something, right? That's because we're putting value in people, thinking that because we put them on a pedestal that they're going to have the same moral compass and the same values that we do. Unfortunately, a lot of the times they do not, right? And that's what you experience, right? You experience somebody that could have just gave you constructive criticism and say, hey, work on it. And, we're not going to do a deal, but hey, work on it and come back and see me later and things of that nature, right? But he chose to take a more destructive path, not thinking about, if I crush this person's dreams, like what does that actually mean for that person? Now, you're a strong person. I'm going to tell you this. You're a strong person. When I was in high school, when I was in high school, unfortunately, I was around a couple people that end up taking their lives because of rejection. Okay.
Right.
I'm telling you that, right? In high school, I had a
Oh, yeah.
couple of my friends end up taking their life from rejection. And
Right.
when you sit back and look at it, you might be like, well, why would you, do
Right.
something so severe on just a no? Because they put so much emphasis on what that person's opinion of them was. And when they got that rejection, they could not handle it. So I think it's very important that we take the time to really, think about what we're doing and think about how our actions are going to impact others, right? Because
Right.
we're all human beings at the end of the day, right? We're all human beings. And you should think about that in the terms of what we're seeing nowadays, where now you end up hurting somebody's feelings, right? That person goes out and they're having a bad day. It's raining. It's New York City. People are angry anyway. You just devastated somebody. Now, if they go out there and bump into somebody, they might end up going crazy. You
That's right.
understand what I'm saying? They might end up going out there just hitting people. A lot of just negative things could come out of one bad situation.
Can I hit you with something? You are absolutely 1,000% right.
I'm saying.
But that's what separates the goods from the greats.
Yep.
Right. Without that, then there is no separation, right? Like, I'm
Right.
sorry. Like, I'm definitely, like, I don't want anybody taking their lives or anything like that off of rejection. But at the end of the day, man, that's what separates it, right? What you just said. I'm the same way. I know so many creators that have the talent that could write better than me, that could rap better than me. They could do the beats better than me. But guess what? What did you say? You said they could not go through the damn pain. They could not walk that path. They had all of that, but they didn't have that. And that's what separated. And that, I think that's the bigger lesson for us, man. It's like, what decision you're going to make? Because we all have the choice and the chance. We all have the choice and the chance, man. And that's the best we have to send. We have to send that.
No, like I said, I agree. I agree with you. I just, again, Barry, I lead from the front. I don't lead from the rear. You understand? And I believe when you're a leader and you're putting up.
Oh no, I just heard rear.
Hold on. I let you slide with the it fell on top of me, or the marketing thing where you like it fell on me. I let it slide. I was gonna tag you, but
Barry, he didn't let it slide. I beat him to it. Fuck that. YouTube, get him.
Barry, like, as a person that leads from the front, not only from me being in the military and understanding what it is to command people and have people's lives in my hands, from just being a natural born leader and understanding what that was at a young age, right? I believe when you're in those type of positions where you know what your words will mean to somebody else and how you react to it can affect somebody else, I think that as human beings first, right, that we need to put more emphasis on just, you know what I'm saying? It's not, you don't have to sugarcoat things, but you don't have to destroy people either. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. So
that's all I'm saying.
Well, I want to ask you both then, Barry, who was your business idol coming up? Or now? Is there somebody that you look up to and look at the way they do business or conduct business and you're like,
I got to tell you, I did not have an idol growing up as far as business. My dad supported me the most of anybody, and he told me I could do anything I put my mind to. So my dad told me that even before I knew what put your mind to meant. I had no idea what it meant, but that he really helped me in that way because he believed in me. And other than that, I've never had one idol, but I do look at some of these musicians that are these older guys like Neil Young, the musician. And I don't even love his music. Some of it I like, but what I admire is he never gave up on his integrity. He never said, I'm going to go turn into this and that and make a lot more money. He'll show up at a concert and he will play the music he wants to play, and he'll have the band that he wants to be there that night. And there are bands he was in that beg him to get back in there because they'd make millions. And he goes, I don't want to be in your freaking band. I quit your band 60 years ago. I don't want to be in it. They go, but we could make so much money. He goes, I don't care. So I like that. That's why, there are those copy bands or the revival bands, old guys like me, and they show up and there's like one original member and he did nothing in the original band. You got a bunch of other people. I don't want that. I want to be the old original guy that people go, you know what? He's got the integrity intact. So I look at a guy like Neil Young and think, okay, I like that.
Message. Then we also asked this. I gotta ask you this. So
wait, did you want me to answer that, Cuzzo? Because I know you said
the idol. Yeah, definitely. Let's go to idols.
I mean, I told you, for me, like once I really understood what entrepreneurship was and understood what, like, I really wanted to be an entrepreneur. I don't care what nobody say, man. For me, it was Dame Dash, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was Dame Dash, man. I don't care. I like, everybody has their opinion. Like, that's the good thing about an opinion, right? When you see art, everybody interprets things a different way. I'm not saying he doesn't have his faults as a person. We all do. We're not perfect, but I just really enjoyed watching the way that he was protective on what he created and not allowing other people that didn't support him initially or decided to support him at a different point to come in and just steal from him now that the train was moving. You understand what I'm saying? And I really enjoyed his ideology of, like, why do you keep working for people? Why do you keep doing all these other things for other people when you can just do it for yourself? For me, that was like, I ran with that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it embedded in me. Like, well, I'm like, now I don't, anything I want now, I gotta own it. That's how I feel, Barry. Like, gotta own it now. Like, how do I get stocks in it? How do I get a percentage in the company? I gotta own it now. Like, I don't want, I'm not being a worker no more. I gotta own it. Like, I gotta, what's part of what does a partnership look like?
Like, what do you look like? Show
yeah.
But I know, I'm gonna just give you quick minds. Mine's is Mark Cuban. So for me, the business leaders that I gravitate to are the innovators, right? Who saw where the ball was going to be 5 years from now, right? So for him to have the broadcast.com and be like, hey, I want to fucking be in my dorm and listen to, college sports games, but I'm already over here. But what if I want to listen to Fordham or Lehman or whatever the college is, right? I can't do that, right? So you built built the relationships. What it was like to go into every single university, build those relationships, say you don't have this, I can provide the technology, then scale that for a couple of billion, and then it's the way he talks to people. You know what I'm saying? The way you just tell, like the way he talks to the players and the Mavericks, he could have been Donald Sterling or anything like that, but like the way he communicates. It's like, I'm worth 5, 6, 7 billion, and I've done this, I innovate, I know where the ball's going, but I'm not going to show you that I know where the ball's going. I'm still gonna do this. And that's what I love, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, again, Dame Dash and them created Rockefeller in the time of creating a label was unheard of at that time, especially as Black people. Like, let's call it is what it is, right? They're like, no, we're gonna start our own label. And with your main act not being able to get signed at that time, who now look what he is now, right?
They took the risk.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So so
tech wise and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Just like two M's, but
again, like I said, inspiration comes in many forms, right? So look, Mark Cuban might have inspired you, somebody might have inspired Barry, somebody might have inspired me. Now we're all here at the same exact time having this type of conversation. Now the next thing is, who are we gonna inspire? See how that works? You see that? You see how that works? So
that's the only question. The only question. So Barry, I've got to ask you, what was the because we usually ask all of our guests this, right? It's the mama I made it moment. And I'm curious for you, because it seemed like you've been through peaks and valleys. I feel like that moment when you was, when you actually got the deal, but what from when you started the agency, what was the mama I made it moment? Was this particular client, a brand deal? Is there a backstory to the biggest deal that you got in the agency? You're going to tell us, figure amount or something, but I would love to hear the story of that, because I know there's so many lessons in it.
It was that Ernst Young Entrepreneur of the Year award, where I did not think I was going to win it. So I did not expect it. Okay. And I was in competition, hundreds of companies. And a friend of mine came up to me one day. I was playing golf, and he's a golfer. So he bumped into me and said, hey, I hear you're nominated for that Entrepreneur of the Year. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I won it a couple years ago. And I said, yeah, I know, that's great. And he goes, you ought to bring a lot of your people to the award ceremony. And I said, well, there's a lot of competition, and it's a 2-hour drive. And, I don't know if I should bring a lot of people. I'll bring my wife and a few. And he goes, no, I really, really think you should bring a lot of people. So it was a message, because he knew at the time that I had won. I did not know he did, but okay. So I took a bunch of my people, and I went down there, and they were announcing the award, and they showed videos of 2 of the nominees. And I thought, this really irritates me. They never came to videotape my company, and they videotaped these people. And I thought, that really irritates me. And then all of a sudden they said, now the winner is, and it was me. And I was shocked. I had nothing prepared. I thought, oh my gosh. But it occurred to me, guys, that, you know what? I must be doing something pretty good. My team has to be a really good team, even though it's an individual award, but it's really for the team. And I thought, we've kind of achieved something here, and we got to stop and we got to realize it and celebrate it, because success is fleeting, and 99% of all companies that would be in a competition like that are not going to win. So that was the moment. That was it.
And I try to tell Barry, let him know, where'd you hear that message? On the golf course, Chad. We got to get your swing right.
Barry, I don't know why he keep trying to get me back. We understand again, right? You hear these phrases. You hear these phrases when you're young, right? Oh, the deals are made on the golf course, right? We went to a golf course, for an event, and I ain't gonna lie to you, Barry. We're gonna have to make a deal somewhere else. I'm being honest with you, Barry. I didn't make it to 18 holes. The first hole, I blew my back out.
Gary, I'm doing 250 on the driver. He's out of here.
I'm a sports guy. I played 3 sports. Barry, I'm a sports guy, 3 sports, all state, and I'm not with golf. Like, I'm being honest with you.
Once you get the swing right, it's the technique. Once you get it, oh my God.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Let's go make a deal somewhere else. Or let me be the guy that just drives around in the caddy. We can smoke some cigars and I can talk to you while you play the game. But
that's not how deals are made, Barry. Let them know that's not how deals are made.
I don't know.
No, they're not made like that. No.
Let them know.
Okay, Barry, let me ask you a question. In golf, am I allowed to have somebody represent me then? Can I be like, yo, I bought somebody to play against you. Can I have somebody represent me?
Absolutely.
There's no designated hitter in golf.
Oh, you got it. Baseball got it. You guy can hit for you, run for you, and all that. Right. Come on.
You would not be in the car drinking Dindus. No. Get out here. On a birdie, on the hole 3.
Well, I tell you what, Barry, see, we talk about the support system, right? Well, I'm glad that I have a support system in my cousin, because you can go out on the golf course and make the deal for the both of us. You see, and then I can go do something else.
I want to do it. I'm gonna get. Watch me in 2 years, Barry. Watch. I'm gonna invite you to some shit. We're gonna go to Power of Peace, and we're gonna do it, man.
but so I want to talk about a very important thing that you said that we can't skip over is the fact that you never took out a loan.
Right.
I want for all the people listening, right? When you're building a company and you're looking for some type of financial infusion into your company, there's multiple ways of getting capital to start your company and expand your company in the forms of, VC and loans and grants and things of that nature. So you said that you never took a loan, but did you get any type of VC funding as far as any grants? Did you write any proposals and get any grants or anything like that to help you along your journey? Because one of the things that we're finding out from a lot of entrepreneurs is their access to capital is very limited, right? And the resources that they have and the knowledge of where to go look for this type of capital to help build and scale their business. So can you talk about that?
I can give you a very, very simple answer. I got no money, no VC, no loans, no grants, nothing.
Okay.
Just didn't do it. But I started out small and we had very little overhead, and my wife had a job, and not a great job as far as salary, but that was it. And I was more comfortable starting small like that, even though it's turned out great. My expectations were not ambitious, let's say, as far as making a lot of money right away. I wanted to be able to run this company and grow it. And money was not, we had enough money to live what we thought was a really nice life, but it was certainly very humble.
Okay.
But I want to touch on that. Like you said, there's VC funding, there's grants, there's all different ways you can get capital. And you know the best way to get capital for your business?
I know. Here we go.
Sales.
Here we go.
Sales. I'm not writing this long ass proposal to Verizon. There's 14 fucking pages that don't know anything, and they might have had Barry, you might have had the golf cart. You might have fucking hit him on a birdie. How would I know this? I don't know this. Right? So the best way to communicate and the best way to get funds is through sales, knowing your audience, knowing your customers, and having a solid product. That's what I want to get out to our community, man. We have to, because sometimes the funds don't come. But guess what? The sales can come. The relationships, there's nobody barring you from any relationship. I
completely agree with you. Completely agree.
I'm a salesperson. I had this shout out to all my salespeople on the chat.
That's why I said I knew where you was going with that.
Shout out to LinkedIn. Thank you, LinkedIn. Love you guys.
I already knew where you was going with that. I was like, he's going to sales route.
Right. I hate that fucking long grant shit. Come on. Who has won that? Somebody put in the chat if you won it. I would love to know. Please.
I mean, again, so ladies and gentlemen, and this is very important information, again, for any entrepreneur looking to start a business, scale a business, things of that nature. It's very important for you to know where you can have access to money and what the different types of money being given to you, what the terms and the conditions are, right? So for anybody that's listening, grants is considered free money. Technically, you have to sometimes write proposals for requests for a grant, and it's paperwork heavy, but you don't have to pay those back. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason that I bring that up is because a lot of people don't even know, even to this day, Fortune 500 companies still apply for grants. Let's be clear. McDonald's, Burger King, these are billion-dollar brands that have grant writing whole fucking agencies like within their company that all they do is look for as much free money as they can get. And they're already a billion-dollar agency, and they still apply for grants, and they still receive grants and things of that nature. So
they still sell a hell of a burger.
No, I'm just saying.
That's what I'm trying. I'm with you, baby. But
just saying, so
burger. They selling Chicken Macs, Big Macs, French fries, anytime, soda size, anything you want. They innovate. It's sales. It goes back to sales. You have to have sales to generate your business. It doesn't matter what it is. You can get the grants, but you need sales.
Okay.
I'm with you. Sales. I love sales. I'm ready to get a sale right now, Barry. Shit.
well, you know, because he's so much on sales, and I was waiting for him to pivot. I put it up by the rim. You know what I mean? Well, because he wants sales, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh wait, hold up. Wait, you didn't lay up.
We gotta pay some bills. We'll be right back.
Just so they know we're doing a sale. Sorry, Barry, but this is for the customers. We need to get you. It's Thanksgiving. It's Black Friday. I can't honor any pricing. I can't honor any discounts. You could put Barry LaBov in the discount. You will not get one, but we still love you. But you can get a hoodie. Barry's gonna get a hoodie, but you can get a hoodie right now. We can put your name on it. It'll be $59.95. You can get a hat with that thing. You get a mug. My coffee cold for 2 hours. I drink it myself. All right, scan it. And how to build relationships and revenue only on LinkedIn. You want to know how we carry on the show and how we're able to have these conversations? You can learn right now for about $99.95.
See, Barry, this is why we have fun on the show, man. Because
that's real. We might do that next week.
We gotta have fun with this thing, man. We try to teach people that this, like I said, this thing is a journey, and I try to tell people to enjoy it, though. Enjoy it. You know, the peaks, the valleys. You can't, if this thing is such an egregious thing to you, then you're not doing what you love, right? Because at the end of the day, there are so many companies that are here today that were struggling, starting up, and you understand, like, look where Apple is today, and look at back when they were Macintosh, and just look at the transition that Apple went through, and when they almost went bankrupt and they almost closed the doors. And there's a lot of companies that are, you know, billion-dollar brands now, but struggled early on, right? And went through some financial hardships, even when they were at a certain level of success that threatened to have them, end up closing their doors and things of that nature. But it's the people behind the brand that love what they do, right? Like you said, Barry, like, if I have to learn something, then I learn it. So, like with us, me and my cousin, man, we wear 7, 8, 9 different hats a piece, right? We do everything ourselves, right? If there's something that needs to be done and we can't outsource it, then I'm the guy and he's the guy. We'll get the books, we'll watch YouTube videos all day, and we'll just lock ourselves in the house until, we're not going to be perfect at it, but we can learn it enough to do what needs to be done just to have us survive another day, right? Because we love what we do. So as long as you are willing to make that sacrifice and invest in yourself educationally and things of that nature, I can't really see you failing. It's the people, like you said, Cuzzo, that give up eventually, right? When the road, I think, is a little too rough and they say, you know what, I'm at my limit and I can't take it anymore. I think those are the people that end up missing out.
Never give up. But that's a good segue into your book too, Barry. You say it's the power of differentiation, right? So like you're building your agency and now you're writing a book telling customers how to differentiate their brand, whether personal or company brand, from the competition, right? Because we know what it is right now. Social media, how do you differentiate your content? There's so many different ways for you to get sales, right? What made you choose this topic for the book? Because you come from the agency. No, it's all marketing, but why you chose power of differentiation?
I think the most important reason I did is that the world is becoming very commoditized and you're being pressured to look and act and price yourself like everybody else. And I thought, now, wait a minute, we got to stop doing this. So it occurred to me during COVID that 50 million people quit their jobs during COVID because they didn't believe in what they were doing. And I thought, well, there are millions of brands out there that confuse everybody. Then there are 50 million people quitting their jobs because they don't think what they're doing is important. So I thought, you know what? Let's back it up and let's look at what makes you as a brand, a company unique. And not only identify and discover it, don't try to create it, discover it, and then celebrate it with your people first. Get them fired up and let them be inspired so they feel like they do something of significance. So that's why I did.
I love it, man. And people don't. One thing, I'm ready to put the sales back up. Barry, I'm ready to put the sales back. I'll put the QR code back up for you if you need it. But the reason why I asked that, right? Once again, it's like I told you off camera, it's the power of the brand, right? I've been in 12 years, right? When I started to win is when I separated myself on social media and started to create content and differentiate myself from everybody else. Yes, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people selling SEO, but not the way that I was selling it, right? Not the way that I was talking about it, not the way I was communicating and connecting with people on a human level, right? And that's what makes the best brands. That's what makes the best salespeople. Anybody listening, 5 years from now, it's not that. You remember, Barry, back in the day, they used to ask me, what about your black book? I had no black book.
Right.
They were like, who can you call? Well, I sold a couple of deals last job, I think. I can maybe call them if the industry fits. Well, if the industry don't fit, then you have no black book.
Right.
Now the social media is your black book. So you have to show them. They want the social proof. You need to be able to make a call and DM somebody to get that thing happening, man. So I love that you did that. People don't get that enough. It's the secret sauce.
Yeah. And let people know that if they go to my website, which is my personal site, which is barrylabov.com, they can get there. And if they want to have a free PDF download, they can do it there. And if they want us to ship a hardcover book for shipping and handling, we'll ship it to them also. So just go there, tell your folks if they're interested to go do it. Otherwise, they can go to Amazon and buy it. And if they've got Prime, they get it tomorrow. But we're doing that to help influence people. And if it can help, it's great. That's it right there, barrylabov.com.
Barry, man, you're doing next day shipping. Ladies and gentlemen, I got 72 hours shipping.
Beating you in sales, man.
You're too seasoned, Barry. You're too seasoned.
Got to get the hoodies out overnight.
Overnight, I will walk it to you. If that's what it needed.
Yeah, that's great. You guys are great. This has been a blast. You guys are hilarious.
Yeah, we, like I said, Barry, we try to, like I said, get the information out from successful people back to the culture, because that's what really matters, right? Because all of us have a timeline of how long we're going to be here, right? So the things that we're doing are going to affect the generations that come behind us, right? So it's very important for us to make sure that we leave this place in a better situation and in a better standing than when we got here, right? So that's the whole gist of what this show is about, you know, letting people know what they need to do to be the next Barry, because there's somebody right now that's watching this show that's going to hear this show and say, hey man, I want to be the next Barry. And they're going to listen to the things that you have said, and it's going to influence them. So if you had to tell somebody something right now, the next entrepreneur, you know, the next up and coming Barry that might have taken your same route, that might like music, but might like business, what would be a message that you could send to them right now?
My message is, do not compromise on what you believe is right. Meaning, if you're producing something, creating something, don't compromise, don't cut corners, because that is who you are. And fight for the opportunity to help other people with what you do. Have confidence in it, believe in it, because if you don't, everybody else will sense it. So fight for what you believe in, don't compromise.
Message.
And also too, Barry, I do want to say, because it looks like we've had people from the agency tune in as well, right? I'm pretty sure there's people in the agency right now that work for you that are like, man, I'm glad I work for this guy. I didn't know, I didn't see you in a different light. You came on this show, right? And it's like, that's what it's about, man. It's more than the title. Yes, you're the CEO. Yes, you have, but they need to know it came from an idea. It came from a dream. It came from sacrifice, right? So when you see it, it's not just your boss, that because you could be that as well. You could be Barry, right? He's giving you the opportunity so you can learn from him and then exert that out and do it for your family, do it for the family to keep the business going. But I just love that I feel like I know you. And this is our first time talking for all the listeners. This is our first time talking. I feel like we know you, man. And we're going to extend what we do to every guest. You are now part of the More Than the Title family, Barry. So if there's anybody that we've talked to that you connect with, you have access to. So we don't believe in gatekeeping, man. We believe in growing together, glowing together, man, building real relationships, not transactional shit. If you come through, you need something, we make it happen. If you got something to play for us, pretty sure we're going to have a play. And we just appreciate you, man, because this is what it's about. We appreciate you giving an hour and some change to us, man.
Yeah, I got a question.
Hey,
though, Barry.
I thank both of you. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sure.
I was going to say, because of what you just said, because about the people that are working for you and are watching this thing, right? Did you ever? I know you said you didn't have any type of funding coming up, but did you actually seek out a mentor to kind of guide you along your entrepreneurial journey? And in turn, the second part of the question is, now that you are established, do you actually mentor other people? Have other people approached you and asked you for like a mentorship and asked you out to lunch? Like, has that come full circle now?
Yeah, I've had a few people that have done that.
Okay.
And they've asked, and I've of course said, sure. I'm always happy. And I've talked to many, many different people who were mentors to me. Like I said, there have been people who believed in me, and I wasn't quite sure why, but I'll tell you, they were very helpful. So I felt I owed them too. I needed to show them the respect and honor them for the time they gave me. So I'm happy to help anybody out there if they reach out to me on my site or on LinkedIn. I'm happy to do it. I've talked to a number of people. So
we're gonna have Barry's LinkedIn, all of his social in the episode description. If you want to connect with Barry, we'll have it in the show description. Please reach out respectfully, man. You hear it. He wants to help you guys out. Please come correct, man. Do not come on some BS. This is what we're about on More Than the Title. We want to grow together, y'all. Come on, man.
And so you've been running this business. So now you said you didn't take out any money from the business in the first 7 years. Can you tell our listeners how long you've actually been in business total now? And that's the first part. So how long has your company now been in business? And number two, like what is the mountaintop look for you, Barry? What does the mountaintop look like for you, Barry? Yeah. Like, what do you feel like you want to accomplish for, LaBov, and before you say, okay, I'm ready to like pass this off to the next person and go, drink Mai Tai somewhere? What does that look like? So two-part question.
All right. 45 years of running the company. So the first 7 years. Yeah.
Hold on. 45 years. You just said 15 out of 17 don't make it to 10. You're talking 45.
45 years, Barry? Hold on, I'm gonna be honest with you. I
run the
did not
company for
expect that
45 years.
I did not expect that answer. I'm not even lying to you.
That's incredible.
45 years.
So it's a long time. Yeah,
Incredible.
45. And so the other part of the question is, I do have two individuals who are younger, far younger than me, and they've worked in my company for many, many years, and they are moving up and are the future owners. And there may be other future owners besides them, but they are. If they choose to keep me on and I choose to stay on, which will be years from now, not a lot of years from now, but a few years from now, then I'll stay on. I'm not gonna, I have no plan to retire totally, because I want to use my brain and I want to help people. So I'm not going to go sip the Mai Tais. I will play golf, and Jarrett and I will play golf together. But
Hey, listen,
Please let me know
I'm not giving up on business. I
got
love what I do.
got some nice pants. I got some nice golf pants and some polos. I'll walk out there with you.
He will not
come
if he's not fucking swinging. No, Barry, we will go. We will strategize.
We will.
He will not be involved.
Barry, I'm gonna tell you. Well, I'm being honest with you, man. Like that just blew my mind, because I expected you to say something like 15, 20 years.
45 years.
Just so you know, I'm 45, Barry. So that really, like, you've had a business as long as I've actually
as long as you've been alive.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, that is crazy.
Amazing, man.
Because, like, again,
it's amazing.
That is like we just in my lifetime, I've seen so many businesses open and close, from small entrepreneur mom and pop stores, delis, food places, and small mom and pop stores, to big, chains, Blockbuster and this and that. And I've seen companies come into business and then go out of business. So for you to say 45 years is, I just want to just give you a big clap, bro, because that is one hell of an accomplishment, man. That's crazy.
And I gotta ask you, Barry.
Yeah.
So reason why I created, right? I wanted to be able to give it to my kids, my children, right? So my kids are same thing with Chad's, right? Chadeo's kids. We're doing the camera. They have equity in the We're doing all of this for our children, man.
Right. Yep.
Somebody else. Do you have kids? Did you think about giving it to kids? Like,
yes, I do have kids. My kids, my son works with me, and he's great.
Beautiful.
I love working with him.
Beautiful.
His vision is not to be running a company. He's got other talents and things. And my daughter is great as well. She has 2 kids, and her full-time job is being a mom. So, but we take care of our kids, and we're pretty close family. So we do well.
I need that advice as a father. I'm asking you as a father, because my son is the same way. He's in the room right now doing his homework, about to play Call of Duty or something. I'm sitting there potting with you, Barry, and I'm like, this is the business, right? So how did you separate them? You know what I mean? You just let them
they got to decide what they want to do. So if I had a child that said, look, I really want to do this, I really, 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 I'd say, okay, come on along with me. I'll show you how to do it. But nobody urged me to go run a business. I did it on my own, and I respect that with them. I want them to do what they're doing. I don't want them to be in my shadow or think I've got to do this to please the old man.
Message. And I love that he said that, because it shows that he's supporting them in what they're doing. Because again, Barry, like, we got to think about the message that we're sending out. Too many times we see parents force their children to kind of like live their dream, right? So you heard what you said about the music producer, or he tells everybody they're bad, or the guy your teacher that told you, oh, you'll never make it because you don't have talent, because he gave up on it. Now imagine if he's telling you that, what is he telling his children? Like, you understand what I'm saying? So again, like, so the messages, we have to be very careful again on these messages that we're sending out, and we're cultivating, especially with our own offspring, because they're very impactful in the way that they're living their own life. If you force your child to do something just to follow behind your footsteps, and they don't want to do it, that can create a lot of resentment.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And
real conversation, man. A lot of parents don't have that conversation, right? Especially dads, because if you're playing basketball, I want you to be Bronny, right? If I'm LeBron, I want you to be Bronny, or whatever the case may be. But that sometimes it doesn't work like that, right? So that's good to hear it from another man and be like, yo, look, you know what I mean?
I think it's just often you know, when you have reached a certain level of success, I think, especially as men, right? We want an heir apparent, technically, right? Somebody that, you know, to pass it on down to. Again, your company could have been named anything.
Right.
You could have named your company anything, right? And we talked about that in business before, right? We talked about that with Malik Yoba, right? I went to school for business, Barry, after I had businesses. I went back to school and actually got a degree after I had businesses. But one of the things they teach you is never name your company after yourself. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, you don't want to tie it, you know, name your company things that people can directly relate to what you're doing by your name and things of that nature. So your company could have been named anything, but you named it LaBov.
That's exactly.
You understand what you named it, LaBov, right? So of course, if you got a son or a daughter that, you know, the daughter not as much, because if she gets married, then she loses the last name unless she hyphenates it. But let's just talk traditionally. She'll take her husband's last name. So it's really the sons, right? That you're like, yo, you LaBov. Yeah. You got to take the shit above everything. Right. You got to come above what I did. Yeah, you know, you got to carry this on, this legacy.
I like it. I like it. I like
yeah, it's a dope conversation to have. Because again, when you are trying to create this generational wealth system,
right,
it's easy for you to say, well, if I give it to my family, they will care about it technically as much as I care about it. You would think, because it's their lineage, it comes from their family, it's their last name on the building, et cetera, et cetera. But again, if they don't want to do it, then if the passion isn't there, then their work ethic and how they go about doing the business, it's not going to last. It's not going to work. Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to tell you, you're both great. I thank you for the time today. You guys are just amazing.
Thank you, Barry, man.
Thank you for reaching out, man. Thank you for having the courage to reach out. Thank you for establishing a relationship. Barry, I'm putting in our number, because what we do with our guests, we start a group chat. So I'm putting my number in there. If you can put your number in there, man. If there's anything we can do, we love to continue the conversation. We don't like to gatekeep anything like that, man. But we thank you for sharing the chat with the community. You have an open invite, man. And we episode 82 of 2024, man.
Yeah.
Episode 82 of 2024. And we're honored.
All right. On track for 100. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, this has been another episode of More Than the Title. You know what it is. You know how we like to end off every single episode. Barry LaBov came on and gave you his story. He told you his ups. He told you his downs. He explained to you that he never gave up, which reinforces how we end the show every single time. Understanding that the dream is free, but the hustle
is so separately, baby.
So separately.